In this video, I'm going to show you the exact system you need to rank #1 on Google. And I'm going to break down everything step by step so it's really easy for you to apply to your content right away. However, this isn't some complex content strategy, but I've used it to help dozens of SaaS companies rank #1. So if you've been sitting on page 2 forever, or you've never even ranked any content, this video is for you. Because by the end of it, you'll know exactly what you need to rank #1 on Google over and over again. Now, before we get into content and writing, you need to know exactly what you're trying to rank for and why. The thing is, most people rush to try to pump out content right away and treat research as a total afterthought. So they choose keywords that don't even convert traffic or are impossible to rank for. Or even worse, they try to fit in as many keywords as possible into their content instead of actually writing for what users or searchers want to see. Because Google isn't just looking for how many keywords are stuffed in an article anymore, they're looking for relevance. So the only way to get to the top of search results is by showing that you know exactly what you're trying to rank for and why it matters better than your competitors. Now, the way to do that is through keyword research, and I'm going to show you a few ways to do that. Okay, so diving into Ahrefs right now, I'm going to show you guys a few examples of some bottom of the funnel keywords or buyer intent keywords. And I'm just going to explain what they are and why you should target them. So I have 4 keywords right here: AI design tools, sample management software, best PLM software for fashion, and textile product development. I'm going to be looking for a few different factors. The first thing is going to be search volume. So this has an 800 search volume, 200, 150, and 70. So pretty wide spread of search volume. In total, it's 1.2 thousand. The way to determine the buying intent of it is to look at keyword modifiers, and then you can also use tools like Ahrefs that automatically tell you the intent. So keyword modifiers go at the beginning of a phrase or at the end of a phrase, such as tools or such as best. So the word best, PLM, software for fashion, and the keyword modifiers show you what people are looking for. So in this case, AI design tools, people are looking for a list of tools because it's plural and they put tools, which is an intent that showcases that the searchers are actually looking to sign up with an AI design tool. Another example of this is the keyword software, and that's why Ahrefs uses the commercial intent icon right here, because sample management is just a regular concept, but when people add the word software onto it, which is a keyword modifier, it changes the intent to them wanting to sign up with a software, or at least look at a review of a software. And to verify this, what you can look at is the cost per click, and the cost per click in this case is an $11 cost per click, which means the keyword was auctioned on by many competitors that have sample management softwares, and they moved up the cost per click to an $11 cost per click. So every click is worth $11, which means out of all of the searchers on this keyword, there's a number of them that are very high quality, and they'll most likely be looking for a sample management software. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this one. This is the keyword best PLM software for fashion. The keyword modifier here is best. So the fact that this goes in the beginning means people are looking for the best PLM software for fashion, which gives it a commercial search intent. People are looking to sign up with the software, and typically about 95% of the time when the keyword modifier best is in there, people are looking for a list of tools. And you can verify this by looking at the cost per click like I showed in the last example, but also looking at the top results and seeing that most of the results are a listicle of different results or different PLM software. Then looking at the last one, textile product development, it doesn't have any keyword modifiers. So how do we determine the buying intent of it? Well, the first thing we can look at is the $11 cost per click. So clearly whoever's searching up textile product development is in some fashion qualified. And we can open this in Google as well and look at the top results. What we see is that the intent seems to be top of the funnel, kind of informational and not really a buyer intent. So we can see that we're looking at degrees, so apparel kind of degrees, or rather education online. This is a career page for a textile product developer. This is another job page, obviously from LinkedIn. Here we have textile product development services. And if we were to look at who's advertising on this, which is typically a good indicator of the search intent or buying intent, we can see that all of these are pretty much services around textile product development. So there's no keyword modifiers on this to tell us what the buying intent is, but the fact that there's an $11 cost per click and that the sponsored results are all around service-based businesses and services. And even if we were to look at these top 2 results, these seem both to be some sort of service-based business. Can't really tell, maybe from the meta description a little bit, but it's showcasing that there is a commercial buying intent, but some of the intent is also a job intent. So not really people looking for a textile product development service, but rather looking to become a textile product developer. So typically I would determine this to be around 50-50. It's going to be somewhat top of the funnel. It's going to be somewhat bottom of the funnel if you are a textile product development service company, and it may be a keyword worth targeting just because of the $11 cost per click. So that's a really good way of determining the buying intent of keywords, but I'm going to show you right now how to actually find those keywords using a competitive analysis strategy. So I just pulled up a PLM software because we're kind of on that PLM theme. I'm going to open up their keywords in Ahrefs, and we can go back to the keywords they had in June because Ahrefs is down on their total number of keywords right now because Google blocked everybody. And I'm going to go to the United States because that's where the most relevant traffic is. A really good way to do competitive analysis on these keywords is to open up all of them, and you can sort by a few different things. The first thing we're going to do to find bottom of the funnel keywords is sorting by cost per click. What this is going to tell us is that these are the top qualified keywords with the highest buying intent because they have the highest cost per clicks. And we're just going to look through their top keywords sorted by cost per click. Mainly we want to look at the commercial intent keywords. So we see that apparel business software has a keyword modifier here, which is the term software, and it has a $163 cost per click. They're ranked on at number 86, so might not be as relevant to PLM software, but we can kind of keep this on the radar, so we'll go ahead and get it selected. We're going to skip over keywords like NetSuite Canada because that is completely irrelevant to anything about our product. Marc Jacobs products, competitive pricing solutions, Brax.com, the value chain, product assortments might be the first one that is somewhat relevant, but we want to skip over the irrelevant keywords, the very top of the funnel, just random informational keywords that people might be ranking for. Product assortments, I just know from my experience, this is somewhat relevant to the PLM space, but you will know what's relevant to your industry, your niche. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. I see that it has a 90 search volume, it has a $43 cost per click. It's very easy to rank for, so it has a 3 out of 100 keyword difficulty, but it doesn't have any keyword modifiers. It still might be worth it to rank for just because it has a $43 cost per click. And then we can just keep going through this top page, which is, 50 results. So we see that this is informational, retail assortment planning solution. So it has a great keyword modifier, which is the word solutions in this term. And then it has 200 search volume per month and a $33 cost per click. And Centric Software is ranked number 13 for them, which means they are relevant. And if they're relevant, or rather similar to us, that means it's a relevant keyword to us as well. So all of these factors check out, and I really like the keyword modifier here. This is a really high quality commercial buying intent keyword. Now, if you want to rank number one without figuring out the technical issues by yourself, you can book a call down below in the description. We've helped dozens of SaaS companies rank number one on Google using this exact system, and we'll see if we can help you do the same. So if that's something you're interested in, you can book a call down below in the description. Now, you can have the most in-depth keyword research in the world, but if Google can't crawl or find any of the content you post, none of it matters. That's why having the right infrastructure is so important. Without it, your blog or website won't even be on Google's radar, no matter how hard you work on it. But the good thing is, getting it right isn't as complicated as it sounds. So let's go through crawlability first. The first thing you want to make sure is that you have a clean URL structure. So for this client, Briefpoint, as you can see, we just have a very clean briefpoint.ai / and then we have the URL, and then we have the slug, which is the very given keyword that we're trying to target. You want to make sure you're avoiding really long numbers or very custom URLs per article. You just want to make sure that slugs are the given keyword you're trying to target, or something extremely simple and extremely clean that Google can actually crawl very easily and kind of see your entire sitemap mapped out across hundreds of pages. The next thing we're going to go through is the sitemaps. So you want to make sure you have your sitemap submitted. So if you're on any website platform like Webflow, WordPress, Framer, Wix, any of those sites for your marketing website, typically it comes with the feature to auto-generate a sitemap. So the way you would do it is by typing in your URL, and then you would say /sitemap.xml, just like that, and then it's going to pull up your entire sitemap. So in this case, we can just copy this entire thing, and we would submit it right here. So in Google Search Console now it has that. So you just type in /sitemap.xml. You can also do like post sitemaps or resources sitemaps, very like niche sitemaps across your site, or you could just do the entire sitemap.xml, and it's going to crawl your entire website across all their pages. Sites like WordPress typically produce one that says like sitemap underscore index.xml. You can just index both of them just like this. And as you can see, it's crawling 213 pages in the sitemap. And this is basically telling Google, hey, these are our pages that we want you to index, rather than you just publishing to the web through your website platform and them hunting for your content and maybe indexing it in the future. Now let's dive into indexing. So under the indexing tab, you can go to pages, and you want to make sure that your important pages are indexed and that you're de-indexing pages that are irrelevant or low quality. So one easy way to see pages that are not indexed currently, because maybe they're blocked for some sort of reason, is to go to the discovered currently not indexed and crawled currently not indexed tabs. This is showing pages that are currently not indexed that Google can index. So we can look at discovered currently not indexed, for example, and we can look at these pages and kind of open them up just like this and make a determination on, should we keep these de-indexed or should we try to index them? And if you wanted to index them, you would just put them into the inspect URL tab up here, and you can open it up and then you can request indexing right here. Now the reason you want pages indexed, so in this case we have 212 pages indexed, is because Google cannot rank your content on the search engine without it being indexed. If it's not indexed, it's not searchable and people cannot find it on the search engine, meaning you're not going to get any traffic, and more importantly, you're not going to get any leads from SEO. The next thing you should look at is your site speed. So you can type in page speed insights, and what's going to pull up is this Google page, and you can just type in your URL here. So we're just going to test Nike.com as an example, hit analyze, put in your domain there, and you can see your entire site speed. You can also see some more analytics that might be helpful. So this test just came out, and what you can see is that your first paint to show up is 3.7 seconds. So you can kind of look into what this actually means. You can kind of read this guide from them. But the point is, you're a little bit slow, but some of these factors are all right. Those are in the green. So you want to make sure you work on your page speed. So in this case, Nike obviously needs to work on their page speed, and then you can go to desktop and kind of see the same results. For example, if we went to apple.com, you can see that they're in the green for everything. So they load much faster than Nike.com, and they pass the core web vitals assessment. Another important thing you want to make sure you implement in your website is being mobile friendly. So you can search up mobile friendly test and actually scroll down. I use the being mobile friendly test tool because the rest of these are like companies that want you to sign up. Bing just offers this online, and you can go ahead and type in your domain or URL, hit analyze, and it's going to show you if you're mobile friendly or not mobile friendly. Now, while this loads, the reason you want to be mobile friendly is because Google, they do not like non-mobile friendly pages or sites, and you will rank much better if you are mobile friendly. So there's actually an issue with Nike.com. We're actually just going to pull up my website here, hit analyze, and you can see I passed the viewport, the page content fits within the device, you know, it's readable. And the next thing you want to do is make sure you actually pass the test of going through and navigating the site. So you can hit this little button right here. Make sure that all of the buttons work. Everything actually works when it comes to the funnel in mobile mode. So you can hit like book a strategy call. You can see that it all works just fine. And obviously you could also pull out your phone and just kind of test it manually. But either way, research in setting up the technical foundations is just the beginning, because once Google can find your pages, they need to know what those pages are about exactly and who they're for. And that's where on-page optimization comes in. It's how you tell Google you're the most relevant, best presented answer to whatever anyone is searching up on the search engines. And again, this goes way beyond just mentioning a keyword 15 times in your content. You need to convince Google that your post is the easiest to read, the most comprehensive, and satisfies the search intent better than anyone else. So the first thing I'm going to show are title tags and meta descriptions. So we're going to go ahead and use a tool called Mangles. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but we're going to use OnBrand as an example. This is one of our clients. We're going to go ahead and look at all of the title tags that we actually just redid for them recently. With this SERP simulator tool, you can enter a URL and hit fetch data, and then it's going to show you the title tag and the meta description and actually what they look like on Google. So this used to just say on brand, just like that, and we optimized it to target the keyword very specifically with a little bit of conversion mechanism. So we want to target the keyword, have the keyword be in the title tag. So in this case, tech pack development, and then made easy to make it sound a little bit nicer and get a little bit of a higher click-through rate. And then in the meta descriptions, we go ahead and include the brand name, because sometimes it actually bolds it and it makes it for really good branding and authority. And then we mention that you can manage all of your tech packs and then a couple of benefits of that, or rather features. So all in all, this is telling Google that, hey, we want to rank this page for tech pack development, and the more clicks we get through it, the higher we'll rank. So we actually just redid this like a week or two ago. Another example, if we go to a solution recommendations page, we can look at like the fashion and apparel, PLM, and throw in this page like that. You can see that we're very directly targeting a keyword. So we're saying PLM for fashion and apparel. So we're telling Google we want to rank for PLM for fashion, PLM for apparel, and then we have our brand name in here as well. And then we mention on brand here again, and then we say the PLM is for today's fashion teams, live tech packs. So a bunch of these keywords in this meta description are going to get bolded per what people are looking for. Now, the next thing goes hand in hand with the title tags, and that's going to be the H1 tags on these pages. So we want to make these sound really good from a marketing and branding perspective, but we also want to include the keyword. So the keyword here is tech pack development or tech packs. We're saying you can feature. So you're just mentioning a bunch of features. So we can create, update, and collaborate on tech packs, and that is targeting the main keyword because that is the main keyword, tech packs. And then for this example, modern PLM for fashion and apparel is the main keyword, but you're also saying, without the legacy baggage, etc. So this leads us to one of the most important steps to get your content to the top spot. Google doesn't just ask if your site is relevant or not when it decides to rank you. They want to have evidence that your site is trustworthy. And one of the best ways to prove this is through backlinks. This is the most effective way. Backlinks are links from other authoritative sites that link back to your site in a relevant manner, meaning they have an anchor text that targets your site, and the anchor text is relevant to what you're trying to rank for. These act as votes of confidence from other sites that give you authority from their authority that they have with Google themselves. This builds up your authority and credibility and helps you rank on keywords faster and higher. So there's two main strategies to do this. In another video, I go through this in very in-depth on my channel, but just briefly, the first way to do this is through blogger outreach. The next way to do this is through partnership networks. I'd recommend going and checking out that video, and it's going to break down a little bit more in depth on how to actually achieve these backlinks from start to finish. Another way to get backlinks is through linkable assets. So this is like creating statistics online in a blog page, or creating something hyper relevant, like is AI replacing lawyers, right? So it's a very hot and relevant topic, and other people like to link back to that naturally. So you don't have to force anyone to link back to it. You don't have to pay anyone to link back to it. You just post it on your site. If you get a top 5 ranking, people are naturally going to search that up and link back to it. Another way to build authority is through brand searches. So this is building up the rest of your brand and marketing in your company. This is through LinkedIn, through social media platforms, through outbound, any ways where you can gain a lot of attention and people will actually search up your brand name. The more brand activity you get on your homepage, so people searching up your brand name, people clicking through, scrolling around on your website, looking at everything you have, Google is going to make you more trustworthy and actually rank you better on the content that is bottom of the funnel and pulling in cold audiences. The last thing I'm going to mention is EEAT signals. So this is writing in an informative and authoritative tonality and actually linking sources, or at least saying that your content is sourced from somewhere. You don't have to actually link anywhere. It's preferable if you do within your content. What this tells Google is that you're trustworthy, and they're leaning more towards this trustworthy way of writing content. And it also tells AI search engines that your content is more trustworthy because they're going to crawl your content and they're going to see that you're citing very trustworthy sources, and they're going to rank you up better. And that's the complete system we use to rank SaaS companies #1 on Google. But we only scratch the surface when it comes to ranking blogs on the top of Google. So if that's something you're interested in watching, watch this video right here where I fix a broken blog and rank it #1 on Google. I'll see you there.